Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jordan Hall. Oh my God, hi everyone. I felt like it was just yesterday when I talked to you all. I always have so much fun on here, like you don't understand. You guys have become my top priority, one of my top priorities, and it honestly has become my duty to give you all the love and happiness in the world. I feel like that's my job now. And I really hope it brings all smiles to your beautiful faces. So today, I will be talking about some effective ways to get over a breakup and start feeling happy again. Tips on how to relieve your stress when you're busy, advice on how to make a friend and make it a long-lasting friendship, and if you stick around to the end of the show, I will be giving you some amazing memories I had with my mom. Yeah, I'm talking about my mom again, but this time it's more in depth into our relationship and why we're so close and why I started idolizing her, or in this case, admired her. So, I can't wait for that. But for the first segment, I will be talking about some effective ways to get over a breakup. If you've broken up with a boyfriend and you just can't seem to get over him and he's the only person on your mind, I have an amazing article that will help through this process. Going through a breakup is probably one of the best times to rebrand yourself. You can be whoever you want, you can do whatever you want, and basically anything you want to try without having to consider anyone but yourself. All this is self-love. If somebody has hurt you or somebody has done something bad to you, this is your time to refocus yourself and to basically think about yourself. Be your own best friend in this case. So to help you through this process, or whoever's going through this, I found an amazing website that lists a couple of different remedies to help you through this tough time. And I'm going to look at some of them now. So this website says showering daily. And I know it seems small, like a small change, but it definitely makes all the difference. And I've talked about this probably in the first podcast. It actually helps me relax. You know, personally, it's one of the best remedies you can use to calm down in general. So if you're having a bad breakup, temporarily, this is a great fix. I know it won't get rid of your problems right away, but it's a good temporary fix to just have warm water wash over you and basically wash away your thoughts. Just picture as the water drips down your back or drips down anywhere, just picture your thoughts being carried away with the water. Just the water, it's kind of like how ants carry different items on their back, like they carry things. Picture the water like ants carrying your worries away and just washing down the drain. It really helps. It really helps. So after you eat breakfast or after you eat lunch, take a nice shower. It's a really good morning routine, and it requires a rinse in the shower. So shower thoughts are the best kinds of thoughts, and it's super therapeutic. Small wins are the best wins. Oh, another one, create a vision board. And it helps you paint a really cool picture of what your future will look like. Again, focusing on yourself is probably the best thing. And it's important to figure out what your life will be like without that relationship as it was before. So if you planned on, having babies with your boyfriend and picturing yourself working with him or collabing with him. You gotta now, if you broke up with him, he's not in your life anymore. So just start picturing your future, but focus on yourself. Focus on what you want to do. Focus on talents that you have and where you'll go forward with it. So just pick up some magazines, look for some pictures, and cut out images that will reflect your life goals and desires. It will really help. Just make yourself a version of a magazine, basically. Make your own magazine. Do some arts and crafts. Basically. Here's another great solution that the website lists. It says go to therapy. And I actually go to therapy to help with my anxiety. So if you're having some boyfriend issues and you gotta learn how to get past it, talk to a therapist, because I'm pretty sure they have some experience and they can give you some tips. And you need an unbiased perspective, and it could really offer you insight that you weren't really able to process yourself. And it will really help therapy because you're talking to someone who has experience, so it's perfect. So another thing is buy yourself a big bouquet of pink roses. That's very specific, but I think it will help. It's like a version of treating yourself. And you should just put it in a vase, water them, and wait for them to wilt. But just treat it like a pet or something. I think it's a really great distraction because roses are beautiful, right? And you deserve to treat yourself anyway. And, you'll be so focused on trying to take care of your plant, making sure it's healthy, making sure it's fed, that you won't be thinking about your problems anymore. This offers a great distraction. Oh, here's another one. And I've never heard of this before. Visit a rage room. What's a rage room? But apparently it's a thing, and it's where you can get all your anger out and smash objects, like just shatter them and just do it to your heart's content. And the person who says this and recommends it is someone named Lauren Cook, and she holds a master's in marriage and family therapy. Well, I gotta trust her then. If she has that important of an occupation, I think I should just trust her and go through with it. So if you have any excess energy that you're having from fighting with your boyfriend and going over that argument and just you're riled up, smashing things, well, make sure it's nothing important. Apparently, it's just a room full of objects that you're allowed to smash. So as long as you're allowed to smash them, that's fine. That could really... Or also, here's something personal that I recommend. Boxing. Well, not boxing, but like punching something, like a punching bag. That would help too. If you smash all the objects and you have nothing left to smash and you still got that energy, you can punch a punching bag. And that requires an unlimited amount of punches. So you can punch how many times you want until you tire yourself out and you just forgot about all your problems. It's perfect, honestly. Or exercise, basically. That's another thing. Oh, this is a good one. Going on vacation. Go on that vacation you've been dying to go to, even if it's by yourself. And I recommend going with someone, but if you're by yourself, that's okay because it still provides a great distraction because you're somewhere else. You're not in an environment where you were with your boyfriend. Like in this environment, you went to dates with him. You probably went to dates with him around town or something, and you just need a change of scenery somewhere where you weren't with your boyfriend that reminds you of him. So you just want to, if you live in a city environment and you want to go to like the Bahamas, go ahead, take your car and or go on an airplane. It depends on how far it is, but just get out of there, get out of that city life and go to the Bahamas and just kick back, sit on one of those lounge chairs and just get yourself a nice drink of fresh water and sit by the ocean. Sounds like a great time. Getting away to an exotic location really helps, and it's really peaceful, and it's a great distraction, honestly. And also reading too. Reading on vacation and reading in general really helps. Just grab that good book, read an adventure book or a fantasy book, or just kick back and relax. It's okay. Just forget about it all. Rearranging your home. And yeah, that's a good one too, because if you had furniture in certain positions and you have OCD and you remember that, you sat in that exact position with your boyfriend watching TV or something, move. Yeah, get rid of all those bad memories and leave space for new memories. Put the couch that was in that position in a different position and just out with the old, inviting the new. And just make it a whole new environment where you can just sit by yourself or sit with a friend and just be yourself, basically, without your boyfriend. There is a life without your boyfriend out there. Just start acting like it. Do stuff for yourself. Oh, here's a good one that I recommend. Don't actually do this, but pretend to do this to get out your anger. If you don't feel like doing it physically, write hate mail that would supposedly go to your ex, but don't actually send it. And if you have a sibling, don't tell them to do it either. But it helps to get all that angry energy out so you have nothing bad to say about him anymore. If you just get it all out on paper and just start writing it, you'll eventually run out of energy and you won't think about him anymore. That's how it works. The caveat is not to actually mail the letter, but to do like a ceremonial burning to get rid of that energy, that angry energy that you held in your heart for so long after the breakup. You just got to get it out, right? So write, things that you would actually say to him, but don't actually say it. And that is a good way to get over your problems. Saying yes to everything. Because if you're sitting home alone and people ask you, hey, do you want to go out? And you're like, no, you're never going to see the world again. You're just going to become an introvert and you're going to be stuck in your house. Don't be sad and stay there. Just say yes to everything. Who are you and what makes you happy? You got to find out. It's useful because if you've been in a long-term relationship where you're compromised and just you negotiated what you ate, where you went, where you watched, and who you socialized with. Like if you had a specific set of rituals that you only did with your boyfriend, you got to step out of that box. You got to do your own thing. Don't just do what you did with your boyfriend. You got to get out. Say yes to everything, not just what you and your boyfriend did. So like if your boyfriend only went to the movies and nowhere else, and you're like, hey, do you want to go somewhere else other than the movies? And you'd be like, no, because this is what me and my boyfriend did. No, what makes you happy? Because when you date someone, you almost become that person. And that, some people obsess over their boyfriend so much that they want to be them. It's just like, no, that's not healthy. You got to be yourself. Go to the locations that you want to go. Not where your boyfriend wanted to go, but where you wanted to go. So say yes to everything. Well, not everything, but like if somebody asks you, hey, do you want to get out? You don't want to be a couch potato either. Just get up and get out. That's it. That's what you got to do. So here's another one. Eating alone really helps. And when you go to your favorite like Thai place or make a home cooked dinner and eat in silence, it really helps. If you just sit there, listen to yourself chewing, I don't like the sound of chewing, but sometimes the sound of chewing is actually therapeutic. Just slowly chew and just relax and just listen to the silence, because when you're alone, sometimes it feels really good because you're used to being with your ex all the time and you're used to talking to him and used to pouring your heart out and telling everything about yourself. So now that you're alone, just reflect and eat, eat your favorite food, cook your favorite meal, just do it. Just do it. Oh, and here's another thing. If you have them on social media and you see them posting and maybe they have a new girlfriend, you're going to get jealous. So block them. If the temptation to see them online and you've been paying attention to their stories online, and if it's just too much, just block them. And they'll be gone from your life. Trust me, because you won't see them posting and you won't see them doing things and you won't feel sorry for yourself. Just go on with your life and don't worry about what your ex is doing. Worry about yourself. Okay, and here's another one. Rely on your friends. Have your friends there with you, talk to them. Just know that it's okay to rely on them. Breakups can make the strongest people feel like they're worthless or not good enough. And if you have friends around you who appreciate you for who you are, then you'll feel confident to share things with them. And if you have a strong support network, it's essential because friends can bring out the best part of you and just show you that you still matter and that you still belong. And when your self-esteem is really low, those are the people you should go to. Also your parents too, but those are the people you should go to help you feel better about yourself and empower you while also working on your own self-worth, which is perfect. Yes, you got to focus on yourself, but also spend time with the people who really matter to you, like your friends, because they're the people who really matter. Okay, so that was segment 1. I loved talking about it because it also helped me get through some things too. You know, I've had to disconnect from something, and now that I listen to this, it's making me feel more human again. You know, it really helps. So up next, I will be talking about some tips on how to relieve your stress when you're really busy. We'll be back.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Okay, so we're back and we're here for segment 2. So for segment 1, we just talked about some effective ways to get over a breakup. But now for segment 2, I will be giving you some tips on how to relieve your stress when you're super busy. And if you stick around to the end of the show, I will be giving you some amazing memories I had with my own mom. So I stumbled across this website called www.verywellmind.com, and it lists some tips for people who are busy, and it gives you some tips on how to get rid of all that excess energy you have when you're stressed, to get rid of your anxiety and just ease your stress. So here are some ways to help get over some stress anxiety. There's a bunch of options on this website. Okay, so the first one that they list here is finding some quick, like some short-term relaxing methods. If you feel really overwhelmed by stress during the day, a really busy schedule will prevent you from finding time to find ways to relax yourself, whatever it may be. But there are some quick ways to feel better without taking you hours, because you don't have to. You don't have to take all that time to try to relax. There are a lot of stress relief strategies that you can do, like deep breathing. You can tell yourself some positive words for the day, like say, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I have faith in myself." Say positive words to yourself, and it will really help put a halt to chronic stress and help you get back into your busy life. Here's another thing that people do. They have coffee a lot to help boost their energy, because sometimes they drain it in a short amount of time by doing large projects and taking on big responsibilities. If you're one of those people who grabs coffee or a can of Coca-Cola when you need a little extra energy, you may be finding yourself more tired long term, like later in the day. It's because caffeine can keep you from experiencing some good restful sleep at night, and it does not help your chronic sleep deprivation. It definitely does not. By understanding the effects of caffeine, you can better see the advantages of limiting it and finding way better ways to get more energy with less caffeine. Because you have to find ways for yourself to get more energy, not just relying on coffee. Exercise in the beginning of the day. I don't recommend exercising at night because you're already tired and you don't want to overdo it. So exercise in the morning. Eat a really healthy meal, because eating unhealthy in the morning, find your own ways to boost energy without using unhealthy methods, basically. And having coffee is not healthy long term. Maybe once in a while to, give yourself an extra kick, but don't rely on it. Usually sleep is the first thing that people cut back, either intentionally or by default. It's very unfortunate because it can leave you feeling drained of energy and lead to stupid errors that you perform in your day, and you don't mean to. You don't mean to make stupid mistakes, but it's because you're tired and you don't have any brain power left. So people revert to using coffee, like caffeine. It's not healthy. So try to find some healthier ways to boost your energy. So for work, especially work, to ease your stress, you got to develop a can-do attitude in order to get stuff done. Because if you have a very poor attitude, like, oh, I can't do this, oh, I'm not good enough, or ugh, you're never going to get stuff done if you don't have a happy attitude. Much of your experience of stress is what you tell yourself about the situation. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you say to yourself, that's what you're going to end up doing. So view stress as a challenge rather than a threat, and it could help you feel more energized because you're going to be like, oh, I can beat this, I can do this. Rather than calling it a threat, like, oh, if I, avoid this, maybe I'll feel better. If I don't do my work, it'll make me feel better. But if you avoid doing your work, that means you have more stuff to do, and then you end up getting stressed that you're not doing it. So if you treat it like a challenge, like, oh, am I being challenged? Oh, I can do this. It will help you feel more energized, definitely. All right, here's another really effective one. Building fast stress relief into your lifestyle. If you don't have time for a new stress management regimen, these stress relievers provide maximum impact for minimal time expenditure. And it really helps, like things like taking your vitamins and playing music in the background, especially music. And if it fits the business lifestyle that you're doing, then it really surprisingly elevates your stress relief benefits. Playing music in general is a really good distraction. I use it too while doing my homework. I forget, while I'm playing music, that homework is an assignment rather than just something I choose to do. So when I put on music, I'm literally just sucked into the instrumental and I just do my work without even thinking of it as an assignment. I think of it as a project that I chose to do and just and I use music to motivate me to continue doing it. So music really helps, honestly. All right, here's another important one. Learning to say no. If you're saying yes to everything, you're filling yourself up with unnecessary assignments that you have to do. You got to focus on what you need to do. So don't say yes to everything. Otherwise, sometimes you have overlapping appointments and all the time. You gotta have a schedule. I mean, people have different reasons for being busy, but many people find themselves busy no matter what their circumstances are because they have trouble saying no to other people's demands on their time. Sometimes you got to say no and you got to say, hey, I have an appointment. I can't do this thing right now. You can't expect to do everything. And I understand if you're a person who really wants to please people, but you can't all the time. You got to do what's best for yourself sometimes. Telling people you don't have time is giving yourself time. You got to do the things that you need to do. Learning to say no allows you to say yes to other things. No offense, but even including things that you need to do. If you don't have to do something and you're just saying yes to stuff that you don't need to do, that's just wasting your time. Just be nice and say, hey, I have an appointment. I got to go do this other thing. I can't overstress myself. Including saying yes to your own self, too, and finding time for stress management techniques. If you need time to decompress and the other person doesn't know that and they're asking you to do all this stuff, just say, I need to take time for myself. I need to do some deep breathing and just recover before. And basically, it's like recharging your batteries. So you got to do what's best for yourself at the end of the day. And here's another good one that I found I stumbled upon another website called jackcanfield.com, and another one says, and it's obvious, eat healthy and exercise. I mean, it's easy to want to jump out of bed and get right to work and skip meals and grabbing fast food. It seems like the easiest thing to do because if you don't have time, fast food is like the easiest thing to have access to, and neglecting exercise when you're just super busy. But starting off the day with healthy food and water and exercise, it's essential to success. If you don't work out at all, you're just lacking energy and you won't get out of bed on the right time. You'll probably oversleep and it's tiring. If you were to go on a long trip in a high performance car, would you fill it with the wrong kind of gas? Of course not. It would be hard on the engine, like your body, and it must come first. If you don't work out, your whole schedule is messed up. You're tired, you don't feel like working, but if you exercise, that's already motivating yourself to get started for your day. So working out is essential. You got to do it. You got to check on your body. You got to pay attention to it and avoid rewarding yourself for working hard by eating badly, because again, that is kind of contradictory to working out. If you work out and then eat the same amount of calories that you just worked out, it's backfiring. I do understand the temptation to do that, but don't give in to it. You'll experience the feelings of joy and pleasure, not to mention greater mental clarity than when you eat junk food. Because when you eat junk food, over time, you just start to get more tired, and again, you don't feel like doing work when you're tired. So just give in and do the right thing. Here's another one that really helps, and especially if you have a lot of excess energy and you just need to get that out. Meditation and mindfulness is something that really helps. I mean, if you're so hyper and you can't control yourself and you're just bouncing off the walls and you just want to run around and you need some time to calm down, this is perfect. Ideally, 30 minutes to 1 hour of meditation per day will have a major impact in all areas of life, but most of us just don't have time to do that. So just start out with like 5 minutes. Pay attention to your breathing. Go, like exhale for 3 minutes. Hold your breath. Well, not 3 minutes, that's a long time, but hold your breath for at least, 5 seconds. Let it out and let it out for 5 seconds. Inhale for 5 seconds, let it out. And also let go of any negative feelings or thoughts that you have. Just let it go. Like I was saying with the shower, with showering, as the water trickles down your back, your worries will be carried away with it. And if you're breathing out, you breathe in the worries and then you breathe them out. When you breathe in, you're gathering all your worries, and then when you breathe out, you're throwing them away. Just picture it in your brain. Picture yourself gathering all your thoughts as you're breathing in. And then when you breathe out, just chuck all those thoughts away. It's also a visual thing too. If you picture in your mind an analogy that helps you get rid of all of your bad thoughts and problems, it will help. So definitely do that. That helps. Here's one of the most important things that even I have trouble with is staying organized. Oh my God. So here's the thing. Here's some personal experience. So I used to, when I was ever busy and stuff, I would never write anything down. I would just say, hey, whenever the time comes, I'm just going to wing it and I'm just going to do it. Because back then I did have a lot more time to do stuff. So I just thought, winging it would be the way to go, but it's not. Because now I have a lot of schoolwork and I have a lot of priorities now, and I've been forgetting more things because sometimes I have something like every single hour. I have an hour of this, an hour of that, and sometimes I get these dates confused, and sometimes I end up doing the other thing instead of, something else that I was supposed to do, and it gets all scrambled. So if you have a schedule, if you write things down, then you'll remember them. Like you have this at 1 o'clock, this at 2 o'clock, this at 5 o'clock. You won't get confused, and also you won't be late for it too. It makes, if you have school, you'll have good attendance. And also, if you don't write a schedule, you'll be even more stressed because you're going to be thinking about the things that you have to do in the future rather than the things that you're doing now. And you're going to be thinking about, oh, wow, I do have a lot of work to do. What if I don't get it all done? What if I this? What if I that? And if you write your stuff down, you don't have to think about it ahead of time. You can just 5 minutes before the appointment, look at your to-do list and see when the event is. You don't have to think about it ahead of time. Just relax, breathe in, breathe out, and just relax and write a schedule. It really helps. And here's the last thing that I'm going to talk about. Be grateful. Don't think of being busy as torturous. Think of it as a life opportunity. Think of it as you stepping up in life. If you have a job, that means you're moving up in life. You're doing something for yourself. You're participating with the community. You're doing something good. It's really easy to be disappointed and get upset at others when things don't go your way too. But by being mindful that we're all in this together, we're all here for each other, and none of us are perfect, it allows to appreciate our differences. Be grateful for what you have. Don't be like, oh, I wish I had this job or I wish I had that job. Just say, you know what? I'm glad I have a job. I'm glad I have people around me who support me and will help me through whatever I need. Just be grateful for who you have and what you have, and don't complain about it, because complaining gets you nowhere. Okay, so that was it. That was segment 2. Up next, I will be giving you some advice on how to make a friend and make it a long-lasting friendship.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, everyone. Now we're going to move on to segment 3. So we just talked about some tips on how to relieve your stress when you're busy. Now I will be giving you some advice on how to make a friend and make it a long-lasting friendship. I'm actually kind of hyped for this one because I'm going away to college soon, and I really want to make new friends and keep it as long as I can. So I really need some advice on how to make a friend. I mean, I know how to make friends, but it's just the challenging part is trying to keep them, and whatever challenges get in your way, you can't let that affect your friendship. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one. Okay, so I found an article on www.canadianliving.com, and it's advice on how to keep long-lasting friendships after you make a friend, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, so friends are really an important part of life. They really provide that extra support network. If you need some advice on how to get through life, or you're having some rocks in the road, you can talk to your friend to get through it. And apparently a bunch of people on this article asked a registered clinical counselor named Iona Monk, and she's a couple therapist too, and founder of Vancouver Couples Counseling. And they want to ask her to provide some insight on how to maintain lasting friendships in this busy world. And it's even harder because of the pandemic, because everything is via Zoom now. So, I mean, I feel like this advice would be very beneficial right now. The first one that it says is be flexible. And this is a really important one for people who like set times for everything. Like, oh, I got to eat lunch at 12. Oh, I got to brush my teeth at 5:30 in the morning or something. And it's like, you got to leave room for your friends, right? And sometimes plans don't work out. But you also got to be open to the fact that your friendships will change and grow over time. It will change over the years, and it's important to be flexible. It's important to feel securely attached to each other so you can navigate through change. Because again, like I said, plans can change. You're never going to have lunch at the same time in the future. You're probably going to end up moving out, and you won't have time to have lunch at that specific time anymore because you're going to have a job, you're going to have kids, like anything. Marriage, babies, and relocations are all a part of things that affect friendships. But you got to be diligent. You got to be accepting. You got to always make time for your friends no matter what you're doing or what you're going through. Your relationship is more likely to be long-lasting if both you and your friends have the ability to grow. And I know also people change too. Like your friends aren't going to like the exact same thing like 10 years from now. You can't just be friends with them because you have a mutual interest. You are friends with them because you trust them. You've been through everything together. And despite the fact that you might have changed a little bit, you're still the same person and you still have the same attachment to your friend that you did in the past. So yeah, friendships are fluid, they're ever changing, and it's important to be able to accept that. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Another one is stay committed. If you're ignoring your friend's texts, like if your friend is sending you, hey, how are you? Do you want to hang out? And you're just ignoring them, that's not going to advance your friendship at all. You got to give your friend attention. You got to hang out with your friend. You got to see them in person. Otherwise, it's just two people having a conversation. Commit to staying connected with your friend, especially even when you're far apart. Like, if they're far apart and you're starting to miss them, don't just sit there and go, oh, woe is me, I miss them. Call them. When it comes to maintaining a long-distance friendship, it's important to share the details of each other's lives so you can stay connected and still be close. I mean, I haven't had that happen to me yet, but one of my friends had an internship all the way in Florida, and I was sad, and I was like, I don't want him to leave, and I feel like our friendship is going to go downhill. But, you know, there is such thing as FaceTime, and there is such thing as, you know, texting and other things that you can do to stay connected. And it all depends on you and your friend, too, but it mostly depends on you to stay committed. You need to make the commitment to stay in touch. Make the commitment to speak at the same, plan a time every month to talk to them. Write a schedule. I mean, I was just talking about in the last podcast, if you're busy and you have a giant schedule a time. I mean, yeah, if you're busy and you have plans and stuff, you might forget to talk to your friend. And I know that's mean, but you're just so busy and you might not have time for your friend. So plan a time so you can remember to talk to them. It's your date to connect with this friend, and it becomes your special time together. And make sure there's no outside distractions like your mom coming in or, you know, sound effects of people walking in the background. Just make sure you're by yourself. You got to develop those rituals and routines and keep them going. Stay organized. Plan a specific time for your friend and make it dedicated to them. Not about anything else. It's just about your friend. Another one is you got to be patient with your friend. If your friend is saying that they're busy and they can't talk right now, or, you know, they're going to be busy for the next month, don't argue with them and say, no, you're not making enough time for me. No, that's not the problem. Again, we were just talking about how people's lives can get busy and things can change. So you got to be patient with them. When a friend goes through a huge life change, like if, you know, what if their family members died or something, or they're having a new baby? Negative or positive things, you got to just say, you know what, I trust you. Let's wait and see, and let's call later. Or, you know, it can be difficult, but patience is key. Some people might feel neglected, misunderstood, and resentful, but you got to realize that your friends have other priorities other than you. It doesn't mean that you're less of a priority than anything else, but it means that they got to focus on their self right now. I mean, it'd be easier if you lived in the same location as them, but no, they live somewhere else and they got to move on with their life. Well, not move on from you, but they got to do what they got to do before talking to you. They got to get their life together. If your friend is swamped with a brand new world of feeding, diapers, and lack of sleep, especially when you become an adult and you have kids, it's really hard to make plans with friends because maybe your kid wants to do something with you or wants to spend time with you, and you got to modify around that. You gotta compromise, basically. So what can you do? Spend time with your friend and the new baby or the kid that wants to hang out with you. Do both. Compromise. putting your needs on the back burner and helping out a friend, or like you can babysit your friend's kid. Don't just be like, oh, you're not making enough time for me. You're so busy. Why don't you ask her for help? Or ask her if she needs help. Ask her if she needs help with her groceries. Ask her if she needs help walking the dog. Like, walk the dog with her and just talk to her while you're walking the dog. It's not that hard. Just compromise whatever busy things she has going on. Make it a time to hang out with her and just help her out as a friend. And everybody will be appreciated. The friend for you helping her, she'll be very grateful that you're helping her, and you'll be very happy that you get to spend time with her. So it all works out. Another thing, communication. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as commitment. You know, it's a two-way street. If you put the effort in, the friend has to make an effort too. It's not just, if you're just doing the effort and the friend's not doing anything, then it's not a true friendship. But when a conflict happens between friends, communication is the only way to get through it. Being able to speak your mind and let your friends speak theirs is really important. You can't leave your friend in the dark. If you got something going on and it's affecting your friendship, you got to say something. You got to be honest. If something is bothering you about her or him, you got to speak up in a nice way, of course. And if you're feeling, neglected, that they're doing something, you got to speak up. Calm down and then communicate with each other. Write an email or write a letter, anything, but it has to be a nice letter. You can't be mean. But yeah, wait till you're calm and then send the message and see if they get back to you. And if they don't, go back to being patient. Maybe they have something going on. So if they don't get back to you right away, that means you got to be patient. Another one, maintain balance. Don't be too obsessed with the friend. Don't get too attached, because the friend could think that you're needy or that you have issues or something, and they'll probably avoid you more. So don't be too attached. Don't make that friend your first priority, because your first priority is yourself and your life. Yes, you can make time for your friend, but you also got to do your job, and you got to do everything you need to do in real life. In order to maintain balance and a happy relationship that's beneficial for the both of you, it's okay to find balance. That's the thing. Treat the friend and your friend's feelings with care, too. It's okay. Your friend is human and makes mistakes, and so will you. And also, going back to communication, if there's a problem between you two, just talk it out. You can still FaceTime and talk it out. And friends are in a really important part of our lives. They provide support, perspective, and just they're a great support resource if you need any help. There's another article that I found on pouronprince.com, and there's a bunch of other options on here that are also really good to maintain a friendship. One is be a good listener. If a friend is ranting to you about something and you're not listening, you're not giving your friend the proper time, and it's just a waste of time overall to call a friend if you're not listening. It's basically the same thing as not calling them at all. So you got to pay attention, be there for your friend, offer them support, offer them advice. We're all unique with different personalities and temperaments, and you got to understand your friend. You got to accept her flaws, accept her problems for who she is, because it makes her stronger. And if you embrace that part of herself, then you'll probably embrace the flaws in yourself too. If your friend accepts you for who you are, it boosts your confidence. So the sooner we understand that, the sooner we can accept our differences. If we embrace each other's differences, which is the next one, actually, I was just talking about. Embrace and accept your differences. We are all unique with different personalities, like I was just talking about. So be a good listener, listen to her, and embrace her differences. Because if you don't, then there's not trust between you two, and there's no relationship. So also, be honest and truthful. If you're lying to your friend, then your friend will get the wrong perception of you. Or if a friend is really good at picking up that you're lying, then it kind of, again, creates mistrust between people, and it's not a good situation. You got to use yes, communication is key, but you can't lie. You can't communicate and lie at the same time. You got to communicate truthfully. And there's got to be no tension between you two. And it's even worse when you guys are far apart, because there's less there's no personal connection anymore because you're not in real life. I feel like everything's more genuine when you're in front of the person, so you can see your friend's real emotions. So just don't lie, okay? We don't want uncertainty in your friendship. We don't want you to have a falling out. Just be honest. Also, just forgive. If your friend has done something bad or you did something bad or anything, it's important to forgive. Forgiving unconditionally brings healing to both parties, and you can just move on. Forget about it. Leave it in the past. If you guys don't get past it, it could lead to a grudge, and you could hold a grudge for a really long time and never let it go. It's not okay to sweat the small stuff. Just let it go, move past it. And honestly, people change, right? People grow. If you don't accept the person's flaws and you just hold a grudge, then you're not a good friend. So you gotta just forgive, move on. Also, take advantage of the new technology because FaceTime and your phone is all we have if you have a long distance relationship. A simple video call like Skype or chatting via personal message, it's perfect to stay in touch with people who are in another location. And I feel like we've been talking about long distance relationships a lot because especially with dating, it's really hard to have that real connection. So just talk to your partner or talk to your friend as much as you can. And that will really, really strengthen the friendship. And also take the time to really talk to each other. As much as technology has been, a great asset in our lives, it can also distract us from connecting with our friends because there's apps on our phone. Sometimes you can be talking to a friend and be like, hang on, I'll be right back. I got a notification on an app and I gotta, solve it or something. So no, we can't let our Instagram app and we can't let our Twitter app distract us from our friends. I know taking advantage of technology is amazing. It gives you communication, but don't let any small distractions on your Facebook app or Instagram app get in the way of your friendship. Just appreciate the time together when you're talking to her. Just appreciate the time that you're taking off of social media and appreciate the fact that you have a real friend. That's all it's about, really. Fake relationships on the internet are not good. Just stick with your real friends. That's what it's all about. Okay, so we reached the end of segment 3. I really did have a fun time talking about that other one because it really helped me have faith in myself that I will make a long-lasting relationship. And as long as I stick to that checklist and as long as I follow every single step on there, I will be fine. And the friendship will thrive and it will last maybe forever. We never know, but things change and you just gotta deal with the changes. But whatever. Anyway, up next, I will be giving you some amazing memories that I had with my mom. We'll be right back.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
All right, everybody. So we're off to our final segment. This is segment 4. And we will be talking about some amazing memories that I had with my mom. Well, specifically, just the moments I spent with her, the things that we did, the amazing activities that we partook in. So, this is probably, I know I talk about my mom a lot in almost every podcast, but this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about my mom for a while because I need to leave room for other things. But I just wanted to give my mom one last shout out and just talk about some of the amazing moments where we really bonded and had an amazing time. So the first thing that we love to do together is snuggle and watch TV shows. And there are so many TV shows that we've watched over the years together that she's the reason why I fell in love with these TV shows and why I'm into the certain type of TV shows I am now, which is thrillers / romance / fantasy too. Because one of the first shows we've ever watched together was Once Upon a Time. And that was definitely a fantasy themed one because it had Snow White in it. It had Snow White's daughter, it had Prince Charming, and I just loved watching it with my mom because I loved looking at her reactions to all the stuff happening on screen. Like, I know she thinks it's creepy. She's like, "Why are you staring at me?" But like, I love watching her eyes light up whenever a character does something good or just get devastated whenever a character dies. It's just the way she reacts to shows is why I watch shows with her. And I just love her facial expressions. And also I love spending time with my mom too. That's another thing. And also the shows we watch together, we have a lot of the same taste. Like lately, me and my mom, whenever a new chapter of This Is Us comes out, like a new episode, we watch This Is Us together. Which, again, I think I explained this in one of the podcasts, but it's about these two twins or triplets that go through life experiences and they have children and family, and we just watch it together because we love the emotions that happen in it. It's not really a comedy based thing. We mostly like rom-com / romance / fantasy, even the thrillers too. And one of the shows that we watched together, and I watched it with my dad too, is called, oh my god, I love this show, Breaking Bad. I love that show. The plot to the adventure to pretty much everything, the character development. I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but it's basically about this. I think it's a really dark show. I don't really want to, but it's amazing. Trust me. Another reason why I love snuggling with my mom and watching TV shows with her is because I love the feeling of becoming warm, like when you snuggle in a blanket. It's the most wonderful feeling when you just dig your body under just the warm blanket. And me and my mom both have heated blankets, and we like to sit next to each other and just put on our heated blankets, and we just like to toast warm together. It's a really fun time, and sometimes we have hot cocoa or tea or something, and we just drink it together and watch TV shows. Like, that's how I love to spend my time, honestly. Here's another thing that I love to do with my mom, and it's singing in the car, like singing songs with my mom in the car, and also talking to her, because I never get to spend time with her during the day. And the perfect time is when I have an appointment or mom has an appointment to go somewhere, and we're stuck with each other for like an hour in the car, and all we can do is just talk about life. I mean, I never get to tell her anything because I'm at school and I'm constantly doing projects, and she's at her work and she's constantly doing, whatever she does, and we never get a chance to actually talk about what we do. So when we're in the car, we first start out just having a conversation and, check and like updating on stuff and seeing how we're doing. And then like 5 minutes later, we're cranking up the music and we're screaming the lyrics together. And I always laugh at how she sings. Like her singing voice is just so loud and so weird, and she doesn't even realize it. It just makes me laugh. And my mom's like, "No, I'm an amazing singer." And I'm just like, "Mom, you gotta listen to yourself." I'm just kidding. I mean, it's all about having fun. And it basically reminds me of like a karaoke night, which I've never gone to. I've never had the chance to go out and do a karaoke session with my friends or something. So this is a good substitute for that. Me and my mom just singing karaoke on a 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon. That's basically what it is. Driving to our doctor's appointment. But it's fun because me and my mom have the same music taste, and whenever a song we love comes on, we're just screaming the lyrics together, and we're just looking at each other like, wow, we have the exact same music taste. Why don't we hang out more? Oh, I really need more time with my mom, honestly. I don't get enough. I really don't. So that's another thing I love to do with my mom. Another thing that I love to do with my mom is going out to dinner with my mom. I mean, going out in itself is such a wonderful feeling because you're out of your house and you're not surrounded by all the stuff that you're constantly around every single day. Like your room, you sometimes get sick of your room and you know where everything is, and it's just, I need a new environment, I need to breathe, I need something interesting. But it's an amazing to do it with a friend, or in this case, my mom, who is one of my best friends. So we like to go out together, pick our little spot, sit down, and it's a wonderful feeling to do that because we're out in public and I feel like normal people. Because my family, I love my family so much, but I feel strange at home because all of us are just so wacky and weird all the time, and I never get a chance to just have a normal conversation because none of my family members like normal conversations. So whenever people are being weird in my house, I'm just like, okay then. But when me and my mom go out, I just feel like two normal people just hanging out, sitting down. And honestly, I love the food that we order too. I love ordering pasta and just slurping the noodles with my mom. It's so much fun. And we just get to talk about, again, everything that's going on in our lives. We like to update what we're doing. Just, it's basically like the same thing as the car, except mom is more focused because she's actually listening and we're not around the family so much. So she can actually listen because there's no outside distractions other than ordering your food. So it's such a fun time. One of my best memories with my mom probably is going to the Ground Round right before the pandemic hit. And the Ground Round is a restaurant that I grew up with because since I was like 9 years old, we used to go there as a tradition. I used to go there, just order chocolate milk, order whatever my heart desired, and just enjoyed myself. I even remember the coloring books that I used to color in. I was so young. They had these like fun puzzles. They had word searches. They had so many different activities. And I just remember smiling with my family, cherishing every moment, and talking to my siblings, mostly talking to my brother in the past because I used to be very close with him too. But me and my mom actually went to the Ground Round right before the pandemic hit. And it was so much fun because it was probably the last time we could ever go out to eat together because the pandemic. So we just sat down, we talked, and it's amazing reliving childhood memories. It makes me so happy. Ugh. So here's one more amazing thing that I love to do with my mom. And it's pretty similar to the other one, except it's at home in familiar territory. And that's just simply having normal conversations with my mom at home. Nobody there, just a normal environment. Because again, I love my family, but sometimes the members of my family don't take things seriously sometimes. And sometimes I like to have deep and meaningful conversations. And when I attempt to do that while they're there, it doesn't get through to them. So whenever they're not in the house and they're just out doing their own thing, me and my mom are at home and we have time to reflect, talk, and just have a peaceful conversation without any interruptions. I can ask my mom about her job and what she does. I do care about my mom, so I want to know everything. Well, I don't want to know everything that goes on in her life, but I want to know what her problems are. I want to know, I know what her likes and dislikes are, but I want to know more about my mom. I want to get to know my mom more on an intimate level because I never get that chance to anymore. And I want to know what she does for her job. I want to know what makeup she puts on in the morning. I want to know what she likes to have for breakfast. I want to know everything. And she doesn't know that much about me either because I don't tell her everything because I don't have time. So whenever something good happens, she's not home. And then once mom gets home, she's way too tired to even listen to me. So when we're alone and something has happened, I love to just tell her in great detail what's going on with my life and how it's going. And I ask for her for advice because she's really good at giving advice too. Like she just has this wisdom about her. And she's had so many life experiences where if I'm having trouble or I'm just having a problem with somebody, she can give really effective advice on how to deal with that person. Because at work, she has to deal with people all the time. She has to, I think she's somebody's boss. She has somebody as her boss. She's constantly working with people, collaborating with people. She has to see patients every day. She has to do reimbursements and just deal with people all the time. And right now, I don't have that problem right now. So in the future, if I ever have to deal with people, I will go to her and ask her for advice because she's really good at giving it, especially on dealing with people. I also love to tell her everything that's going on in my life emotionally. If I'm having a problem or if I need to get through something, I ask her, and she really does help. And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. She is probably one of the most understanding, emotional, and empathetic people in my family entirely. Well, besides me, because I'm very emotional and I show my empathy, but so does my mom. And that's something we really have in common. And that's why I talk to her, because she gives off the same vibes that I do. So she understands me, I understand her, and it's an amazing relationship, and I could never be more grateful than I am. I love you, Mom. And this is the closing to segment 4. And this is probably the last time I'm talking about my mom, because I've talked about her so much and I need to leave room for other people. So that's the end. So we're just about to wrap up. That was the end of segment 4. I am so glad I was here with you guys again. I really missed all of you. This podcast really has become part of my daily routine. And honestly, if I didn't do this every day, I wouldn't be able to function. I wouldn't have the motivation to get up in the morning. I wouldn't have the motivation to brush my teeth. You guys are the reason why I smile every day and I look forward to doing what I love to do, because of you guys. So I'd love to thank you for that. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and remember to smile, and remember that you are worth something. All of you are. So thank you for listening to the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review that really helps us. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.